Gimmick Minute Wrestling Podcast. My name is Jason. I got Kevin here with me, and we are here to talk about all the things going on in the world of professional wrestling. So, a couple things on the agenda tonight. We're going to talk about, we're going to kind of follow up on our conversation from last week because I think some of the storylines took a couple of really big steps on the road to WrestleMania. So, maybe a few of those that we were like, maybe we should let them cook. Maybe it's a good thing that we did, but there's a few of them still maybe that aren't quite heating up the way they should. We're also going to talk about, I do want to mention a little AEW because I watched Dynamite and there's some good things on there. And I also want to talk about Dark Side of the Ring.
Because I'm glad you brought it up because I have some opinions on some things too.
Okay. All right. We'll talk about it. But then in addition to that, I also want to talk about Dark Side of the Ring because you and I are both caught up. And while the first episode wasn't really much because it was like stuff that we all knew about already. You know what I mean? It's been covered 100 times, but this most recent episode was very interesting to say the least.
It was just like, I don't know when you wanted to get into it, but like, it was just kind of, he had a short stint. Obviously,
yeah. We're here, so let's just talk about it. I'll be honest with you. I don't really remember Ludwig Vorga. Like, I remember the name, and I'm watching the clips, and I'm like, I feel like I've seen it. It's like one of those memories that you have that you like. Did I see this, or am I just thinking I saw it because I watched it during this era? You know what I mean?
So I do remember him very vaguely. And I do remember that time, that era. The first thing I remember, the funny thing is, like, they brought up his, like, obviously he had plenty of tattoos. We could talk about those.
Yeah.
But the one that was always shown was the one on his arm. So I always remember, like, that one. But no, I do remember him, like, big time, especially, like, he was trying to feud with Luger or whatever. But he really didn't have that big of a stint in the WWF at the time.
Yeah.
What you really heard about him from was, I think, if you ever, like, I think they talked about him on Grilling JR before.
Okay. Yeah, maybe.
And that's when I first heard about the SS tattoos.
Yeah.
That were hidden. I had no idea about the Exit Only one.
Oh my gosh, dude. Jim Cornette talking about that was the funniest part of that episode. Like, I was dying when he was going on his little rant about what, like, this guy's so homophobic, like he needs to have that above his asshole. Like, what? Who are you doing that for?
The best part of it, Jason, is that I saw that clip unedited on X the day or two before I edited it, and listening to it unedited from Cornette's even better because he's like, this guy's so he has to get a tattoo. Says, "Hey, don't fuck me in my ass." But hearing Cornette saying it without any bleeps makes it 10 times better.
Oh, I'm gonna have to go back and watch that. That's amazing.
Yeah, what a kind of piece of shit he is.
And when watching this too, the one thing I could not get out of my head, and I've thought about it ever since. I feel like there's a good chance that Ludwig Borga is, or Tony, what his real name is, somehow Brock Lesnar's illegitimate father.
Oh yeah, I know. He's got.
I mean, dude, the mannerisms, the look, like the hair, like, dude, even when they showed him, like, with the MMA, like with the gloves on, like his style, like the way he threw punches and shit like that. Fuck yeah. Like, I'm looking at it and I'm like, is this Brock Lesnar they're showing? Or is this, like, dude, he looks so much like Brock Lesnar. It's not even funny.
Yeah. Yeah. It was insane. But I'll be honest though, like, it was an okay episode, but like, it honestly wasn't, it was kind of whatever for me.
See, I enjoyed it because I didn't know anything really about him. That's these Dark Side of the Ring episodes, like the Hell in the Cell episode. It was a good episode, but I literally have heard every single thing that they talked about in that episode before. Like, WWE has done better documentaries on that Hell in the Cell match, and
Mm-hmm.
and they tried to make it more about the head injuries that Mick sustained, but they had to throw in the Rock chair shots in there and stuff like that.
Yeah,
Like
it was weird.
The episode was more about Mick and what the head trauma can do to you and stuff like that. But it's like trying to wrap that into Hell in a Cell to me just seemed a little weird. Like I didn't like the way it came across.
Yeah, I didn't really either. Honestly, what I enjoy is like, I don't know if you ever heard of Dark Side of the Laps fan podcast.
I've not.
Yeah, it's actually, I actually subscribe to it myself, and they kind of they just I forget who hosts it, but he sits down with Jason and Evan, and they'll talk about different things throughout the show. Like right now, like they just started back up some episodes. Like last week, they talked about Bret Hart. And the recent episode was about. Do you remember the strength and conditioning coach from the Brian Pillman episodes?
Yes.
Okay, the one. If you watch the Confidential series, he talked about how like they met with him longer than any guest ever. Like he said, they literally probably did like 14 hours worth of interviews with him, which is unheard of. But this past week's podcast, and I got through a little bit before I fell asleep or whatever, but it's just all about him or whatever. So that's a good listen too. It's just, you just search Dark Side on Apple Podcasts or whatever, and they're actually really good episodes.
So since you brought up Bret Hart, let's transition into this. What do you think about WWE inducting matches into the Hall of Fame?
Yeah, that's kind of weird. Like, it's not weird. It's cool. It's different. I mean, like, it was kind of just unexpected, like out of left field. Like, you had no idea.
But is it just like an excuse to make like guys like The Undertaker or Stone Cold and Bret Hart in this instant? Well, Bret Hart would technically be like a 3-time Hall of Famer then.
He'll be the first ever 3-time Hall of Famer.
And I mean, Taker and Shawn would have to be a match that gets inducted, and that would make Shawn a 3-time Hall of Famer then as well.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I don't know. It's just weird. Is it an excuse just to get Steve there and have him there in Vegas, like under the guise of like, hey, you know what I mean?
Maybe. I mean, that's a good point. I never thought of it that way. You know.
Do they not have anybody else to induct? So they're like, hey, how about we do a match? Like, I don't know. It's odd.
I mean, it's, you know, the funny thing about it is like, and I was reading a lot of people's talks and comments about it. Like, when you think of great WrestleMania matches, you think of obviously Shawn and Taker from 25. You think of Steamboat Savage WrestleMania 3.
Yeah.
And probably think of Shawn and Jericho WrestleMania 19.
Well, and you think of Bret and Steve from 13. I mean,
and then you. But the thing is, like, Bret and Steve, like, yes, like if I'm talking 4 greatest Mount Rushmore matches of WrestleMania, like those are the 4 that I think of.
I feel like we did didn't we do like a WrestleMania
it was the finals. I feel like it won.
Yeah, it either won or it lost to Bret to Shawn and Taker in the finals.
Yeah. Yeah, I think if memory serves, it was in the finals with WrestleMania 25.
If anybody of our listeners want to go back and listen in the archives and find out who won that, let us know.
Yeah. You gotta go back about 4 years.
Yeah.
So, I mean, if you think about it, like, it might be the best match in WrestleMania history, just because of storytelling and
what it meant to the business.
It was the best, probably, double turn of all time.
Mm-hmm.
Because Bret was such a huge babyface, and Austin was a super heel. But you also got introduced to Ken Shamrock in it. You know what I mean? Like him being involved in it, but the blood and but Austin. You know what I mean? Like
it really helped usher in the Attitude Era too.
Yeah, 100%. So. I don't know. Here's
my thing with it though. When you induct somebody into a Hall of Fame, right? you're recognizing them for all of their accomplishments, and you're giving them a platform, basically. Like when you think of, obviously the WWE doesn't have a physical building yet, but that is something that they eventually plan to do. But when you think, like, we live in Northeast Ohio, which is the home to the Pro Football Hall of Fame, right? So when you walk into that building, you know, all of the busts of all the Hall of Famers are, on the wall, and well, it's actually kind of big, but there's a big monitor that you can go to, and you can tap on any one of them and pull up all their career stats. You can watch their career highlights, assuming that they played in a time when, it was recorded on TV, but you could see all of that stuff, right? And it lives forever. To me, the match is available to anybody that wants to watch it already all the time. So it's like, why does the match itself need the rub of being a Hall of Famer? Like, that's something that's already living forever because it's on Peacock or WWE Network or whatever form that it exists on. Like, you can literally have it at your fingertips anytime you want to.
Yeah.
But I guess it's like, maybe it's a way to highlight it, so maybe fans that are new can be like, "Oh, why is this match so special?" and go back and watch it. Maybe I don't know. Like, I'm trying to think of the reasoning behind putting
now
the spotlight on a match.
Well, now I'm saying the reason though. Like, I guess I had no opinion right either way, but like, if we are gonna induct matches and we're gonna like this is gonna be the first one, like, is it really the most important one in history? Like, it has a good debate. Like, to me, the most important match in history is Hogan versus Andre.
Yeah, and I don't know if that's necessarily debating that, but you got to you know, think of the person that's in charge now, though. Like, he cares about more than just the showmanship of it, right? He cares about the work rate. He cares about like, he cares about all of it. And when you think about a match that has all of that, it would be Sean and Brett, or Sean, not Sean and Brett, Steve and Brett.
Yeah.
That has everything. It had the story, it had the prestige, it had the showmanship, it had the in ring, it had all of it encompassed into one. Where, Andre and Hogan was a spectacle, but at the same time, though, if that's going to be your first one, you're going to have Hogan there. You know what I mean? Like, you want
Yeah.
both participants to be there and it be a good thing. You're gonna have Hogan there who will get booed by people, and Andre's dead. You know what I mean? And it's like, there's uh, if you're gonna do it like that, then it's got to be. If you're gonna do Hogan and Andre, you almost got to do it maybe after Hulk passes. Like,
Yeah.
posthumously do it. I don't know. I think he's such a lightning rod right now that,
Oh no,
this
I'm not saying
this probably the next
they
best
should.
thing.
I'm not saying. Yeah, I didn't mean like, hey, they should be in and not. I mean, Austin and Brett. It's definitely up there as far as what should be inducted. I'm just kind of. Are you? Hmm. Are you? There's not a lot of inductees this year. Which is
There's
not bad.
not, but there wasn't. I don't think there was last year either. I feel like they've limited
No,
it down, and I like that, though, because
I like that.
it gives them time to tell their story without being rushed off the stage and then having to worry about having like 30 other people go. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You got a male singles competitor, you got a female singles competitor, you have a tag team, and who else? So it's Triple H, Michelle, the Natural Disasters, and then the
Luger.
match, and that's it. Oh, Luger, yeah. Okay, so two male competitors, one female competitor, and then a tag team.
And I think the Luger one might be like a show stealer. You know what I mean? Like, obviously Triple H is the headline.
Yeah.
Well,
Well,
I don't know.
dude, I mean, the second that they wheel Luger to the stage and then he stands up out of his wheelchair and walks to the podium to give his speech, I mean, I think that alone right there is probably gonna steal
Right.
it. Did you
Yeah.
listen to I don't know, did you catch the Eric Bischoff when he did the interview with both Luger and DDP
No,
on
I haven't.
83 weeks?
No, I haven't. I haven't listened to 83 Weeks and a lot of those in a long time. So.
So last week on 83 Weeks, he did a sit down he went to DDP's new, complex that he's got built, and he did a sit down chat with Luger and DDP. And then I also listened to Luger on Chris Van Vliet right before he got the announcement that he was going to be in the Hall of Fame. And man, just hearing him talk, man, he's got some fun stories, and he's got his perspective on life is just completely different now, and it's pretty amazing how far he's come. And dude, just like hearing him talk about too, like he talked about how he found God before his neck injury, right? Like he had already begun that transformation in his life, and then all that stuff happened with his neck. He became a quadriplegic, and he lost like 100 pounds of muscle in like a month. Because if you don't use it, you lose it, and it like literally just kind of like melted off of him. And he had a lot of what he, that was his image, right? That was what he was known for, and the perspective that he had on that, he's like, no, God had to take all that away from me so I could understand like I was more than just that. And like, and just his perspective on that, because when you think about that, like, oh, here if you or I were, and I'm starting to kind of get a little bit more into like faith and church and things like that, but like, let's say, you know we're in this situation where we, give everything to God and like say, hey, take the wheel, and then all of a sudden we're quadriplegic. You're like, fuck, what I mean? Like, your perspective may not be that of what Lex had, to where, he doubled down and said, okay, this is your plan for me. I'm gonna go ahead and make the best of it. Most of us would have been like, I put my faith in you, and you put me in a bed, and I can't move. You know what I mean? Like that.
Yeah.
It's just amazing to hear what his perspective on it was and how far he's come from there.
And I'm glad
It's crazy.
I mean, me personally, like I know a lot of people like don't like Lex, didn't like Lex Luger. Sorry,
You just call him Lex Luger?
No, Lex Luger. I just can't. I can't. I'm sorry. I can't talk.
Yeah, your mouth is an exit only.
Yeah. But I always liked him. I always liked a lot of his work. Like, if you want to watch some good Lex Luger stuff, like go back to like '89. Like, go watch. Here's my plug. Go watch him and Pillman from Halloween Havoc 1989. Now Pillman had a lot to do with it too, but like Luger was a heel at the time, and like almost worked like the ring general, because everybody gives him the criticism of, well, the only time he ever had good matches with Flair, because Flair was leading the whole match, but there were times where he had some good matches. So
oh yeah, he did. I mean, I honestly, man, like I remember when he came in as a narcissist, and I thought the narcissist character was, of course, as a kid, I hated him. He was a heel. He was aligned with Bobby Heenan. But, dude, the whole gimmick with the mirrors and him checking himself out, like not paying attention to his opponent and stuff like that. And he had some good matches. But then when he did the whole Lex Express thing and kind of took the world by storm, man, like everybody got behind Lex Luger. Everybody loved it. I mean, I think there's some revisionist history about it, because you hear stories now about that time and you think, oh, well, that sounds like he was an asshole. Sounds like he wasn't that great of a guy. And, that's a lot of that comes from Bruce Pritchard's perspective of it, where Lex has a different perspective of how that time went and things like that. But it's at the same time, though, like, Bruce forms an opinion on people just like everybody else does, and his opinion may just be his opinion. You know what I mean? Like, it is what it is. But
I think I mentioned it a few episodes back, but when my daughter was in New York City a few weeks ago and their show choir performed on USS Intrepid, the first thing I said to her, I says, do you not know who's been on that ship? I said, that's where Lex Luger body slammed Yokozuna. Okay, you don't know how lucky you are.
And
she had no idea who that was. Any of those people were.
So yeah, I mean, I think it's great, but yeah, to go back to what we first started talking about, like, it's just weird that a match is getting inducted into the Hall of Fame. I think it's great to recognize Steve and Brett for that match, because it was an incredible match, and maybe that will force people younger than us that maybe never saw it, or maybe fans that are just now jumping on to WWE to go back and see it, but it's like, you got to watch everything leading up to it too. You know what I mean? Like, you got to know what was going on to understand the impact that had. But it was, it was a great match. So, if they're going to induct one in the Hall of Fame, I'm just wondering, is this going to be an every year thing, or is this just, like I said, is this just an excuse to get Steve there?
Well, you know what's weird too this year? There's no Warrior Award.
They didn't do one last year either, or the year before.
They didn't?
No,
Okay.
once Dana Warrior's contract with WWE ended, so did the Warrior Award.
Oh, okay.
So,
was it because she made it all about herself?
I don't know. I think it was just something that they did for a few years to kind of placate her a little bit, and they gave her a position in the company to give her a paycheck and stuff like that, and get her some experience. But it was like, and they do that. I mean, Vince, to his credit, always tries to do the right thing. I mean, look at Vicky Guerrero. After Eddie died, they made her the general manager and kept her employed for how many years after Eddie passed away, to make sure that she could provide for their kids and stuff like that. Like, that's just shit that he does. You know what I mean? Like, so I'm not too,
So
the Warrior.
So many people don't know we're recording right now and SmackDown is going on. Do you by chance have SmackDown on in the background?
I don't, because I'm afraid to with my internet. I don't want to, you know what I mean?
Okay.
Like, I don't want to run.
You haven't
too
watched
much.
any of it tonight?
No, I won't. I saw.
Okay.
I accidentally saw Ray Phoenix get the win on whatever match he had, and then
it's his little debut thing or whatever.
Yeah, and then there was something else I saw too. That was there's something else that I saw too that was a little bit of a spoiler for something, but I think I saw Solo go up to Braun and talk to him before the match with Fatu. That's about it.
I would say, like, I haven't had a chance to watch like SmackDown like as it happens in a long time. Like, I want to be able to go back and watch bits and pieces, but I've been able to, knowing that we were going to record tonight and stuff. I was like, all right, well, I'm gonna watch it or whatever. Like, man, I pick a good night. So far, this has been one hell of a
SmackDown. All right,
yeah.
Cool. I'm excited because after we're done talking, I'm gonna go straight to watching it. So I'm looking forward to it.
Okay.
But all right, well, let's go back and talk about, so we talked last week about, should we let it cook, or should we, let it cook, or should we be concerned about the build that they have going on? And I think WWE did a great job, at least in a couple of instances, of really kind of stepping on the gas pedal for the road to WrestleMania for a couple of storylines. The first of which is the Jey Uso and Gunther. Bro, like,
it went from, let me cut you off. It went from to, oh my god.
Yeah.
Out of the commercial break. You know what I mean? Going into that commercial break, you were like, okay. And then coming out of it, because you were watching it live. I was at work. I couldn't watch it live or whatever, so I had to like kind of like clip everything together. And oof, man.
Yeah, man. When he came back and hit him and bloodied him up and had Jey zip tied and all that, like that was, and you could see like that was, Jey did a great job of selling it. You know what I mean? Like watching his brother get absolutely brutalized, helplessly, couldn't do anything about it. Trying to, like, even when he was pulling on him, he was yelling, Josh, come to me, like he was calling him by his actual name.
Yeah.
And that was also something, or not, he was calling him John. Sorry, he's John. Jay's Josh. But where I was going with it is that reminded me of when Jey was feuding with Roman back in the no fan era, and Jimmy came out for the save and he covered him, and he was covering him up. He goes, "That's Josh, man. Like, what are you doing? Like, what are you doing? That's Josh." You know what I mean? So it kind of like tied back to that for me. So I thought that was very well done. I mean, WWE doesn't use blood often, but when they do, it means something.
Yes.
And in that case, it meant something, and I think they did a good job of making it mean something. So
yeah,
that was
red will make you green, and
yeah.
so in this case, it worked to help. So
Yeah, I mean, it definitely upped it. You know, I that match is something I want to see for sure, right? Um, I thought the Roman Seth and the Roman Punk Seth thing, you know, that happened after we recorded, so we haven't really talked about it being made the main event of Saturday. I thought they did a good job of Punk basically acknowledging that he brought both of them in and, you know, kind of tying it together for the storyline purposes of like, why are these guys like, why do they have this animosity? Like, I can understand Seth and Roman. I can understand Seth and Punk, but where's the Punk and Roman thing come in? You know what I mean? Like, I thought they did a pretty good job of tying that part of it together. And the fact that they made it the main event, but then, you know, Punk dropping that, but that's not the favor. So it's like, okay, so what's the favor? What we still need to know what the favor is, and there's a lot of speculation. Some think the favor is that Paul's going to accompany Punk instead of Roman to the ring. Some people think that it, you know, may not have anything to do with this match. I mean, what are your thoughts on it?
I hope it's not the accompany him to the ring. That's kind of,
yeah,
you know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
I hope it's not that. A lot of people have been saying that.
What do you think about the theory that Heyman doesn't leave with Punk or Roman and actually helps Seth win and leaves with Seth?
Yeah, I've heard that too.
It doesn't make a whole lot of sense, only in the sense that, I mean, the funny thing is, though, none of the three of them really need him. Roman, it works because he doesn't have to talk, and when he does talk, it's more meaningful.
Right.
But it's like, yeah, I mean, none of the three of them really need him, and Seth. I mean, Seth doesn't need him. I don't think. I don't know. It might bring Seth to a different level. You know, maybe Seth wants that Roman run and thinks that Paul is the, you know, the architect behind it. So maybe Seth would be like, oh, okay, well, Paul, you're on my side now. Now you're going to help me be champion for over 1,000 days or something. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I don't know. There's
still too many unanswered questions there.
I will say that helped get it cooking more.
Yeah.
And I'll say, I think tonight possibly there could be stuff help cooking it more, maybe.
And I would imagine that too. So, you know, because obviously nothing really happened on Raw with it. So you got to figure SmackDown. I think Seth came out and cut a promo maybe on Raw. I feel like there was something he did on Raw, but I feel a little bit better about the triple threat match for the women's world championship match with Io, Bianca, Liv. I thought Io and Rhea were having a fucking banger on Raw, and the way that the match ended and everything with Bianca just getting pissed and basically just walking out of it. Like I thought that was really well done. The way, I mean, you knew something was going to happen. Like there wasn't going to be a clean pinfall. You knew something was going to happen.
And sorry, before I forget, can we go back real quick? Can we go back to the Punk trolling fucking AEW again on Monday?
Oh yeah, saying
Drew McIntyre and the broken glass.
Did he really get it in his eye, or were people just making it? Because he was like, "Oh, okay. my eye," and then there was the whole thing on the internet.
The only spoiler I'm going to give you for tonight is that Drew cut a promo, like a little vignette promo tonight on SmackDown. He's wearing a fucking eye patch. Okay.
Okay.
So come on.
Okay. Okay.
Sorry, right. I popped. I saw that. I was like, this dude's so fucking awesome. I love fucking Drew McIntyre.
Oh man. All right. So what was I even talking about? Oh yeah, Io Rhea, great match. Like I think they took some good steps forward in that one. But man, also for all you out there that said, "Oh, they're not letting Cody and John go back and forth because John's gonna cook Cody on the microphone. I'll tell you what, John did, but Cody gave just as much as he got. When
I was kind of shocked.
What Cody said, there's
crossroads too.
There's more. You have more dick in that promo than you do in your jorts, dude. I fucking lost it.
Listen, as much as people are like, "Oh, Cody needs to go away," this and that, like Cody's as hot as ever, man.
Yeah, he is.
His promos are just fucking amazing. Like he has not missed with his promos, and the thing is, he is another character that, like, honestly, he's like a Bryan Danielson or even like a Chris Jericho that I think could go back and forth. Where if Cody went heel, I bet he can go back to face in like 5 months later.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? Like, he did that shit in Ring of Honor. You know what I mean? In New Japan, people don't realize like what a heel he was in Ring of Honor in New Japan. Like, but back and forth, you know what I mean? Whether he does that or not, I'm just saying. But like, he's just like one of those people that can evolve back and forth. And his game, and give credit, he really came into his own, obviously on his own, whether it was Ring of Honor, New Japan, AEW, or whatever. But like getting to be back, but like under the umbrella of like Triple H, Paul Heyman, Michael Hayes, Bruce Pritchard, William Regal, you know what I mean? Like all those people, like it's just fucking amplified. So like his promos, man, are just like, I generally like can't wait to listen to him. It's not just we want to talk about it anymore. It's
he actually has some substance.
The memes. My favorite meme out there now, or not meme, or whatever it is. It says, when the cashier asked if I want to donate $1 to a charity, and it's Cody Rhodes saying, "Go fuck yourself." It's my favorite one now.
What was the other thing where he called John a piece of shit too? He's like, you're still a piece of shit, or something like that. You're a piece of shit, but I like you, or I respect you, or something like that. I don't know, but
yeah.
And he did bring The Rock into it as well. So, you know, Rock's name has been brought up in the whole storyline, so he's not just a forgotten part of it, you know. So, but it's almost like they want you to forget about it, because then when he does show back up and do something, you're like, oh shit, okay, you know what I mean? Like, but yeah, man, like it, which we figured would happen. You know, like I said last week, they needed time to establish John's new character. Now that we've established John's new character, now we can pit the two against each other and go back and forth. And I was really surprised that Cody dropped them, but I guess, you know, Cena did beat the shit out of him at the end of the last, what was that last show?
Yeah, people were like,
elimination.
Okay, come on. Yeah, like John, like freaking, like
bloodied him up,
murdered him, and
right, yeah. So he dropped John, and you know, then he dropped the hat on him and stuff like that. So yeah, man, that was really good. So I'm glad they let that one cook a little bit. Let's see. Trying to think. Oh, Ricky Saints won the NXT North American title, so good for him.
Yeah, that was a good match. I was able to watch that. That's good. I mean, I know Shawn Spears just got it, but that's
he defended it a couple times, but you know, it was good transition champ. And at this point in Shawn Spears' career, I think that's kind of what you would expect out of him, right? You know what I mean?
Yeah, but I mean, it doesn't mean they can't have a little follow-up match or whatever to it. Or
well, I think his next, Ethan Page came out and attacked Saints after he won, though, and then held the title over his head. So,
speaking of Ethan Page, how about Ethan Page last night? I don't know if you know this, showed up on TNA.
Oh, did he? No, I didn't see. I didn't watch TNA. Oh, good.
Yeah,
that's cool.
He showed up on TNA last night. So, yeah, we'll crossover over there.
Cool. All right.
I don't know if he's going to start something with Joe Hendry or what, or I forget what I just saw him. He was on TNA. So.
Yeah, I got so far. There was a point in time where I was on the road a lot and I got real far behind on my TNA episodes and I just haven't caught up yet. So it's to the point now where I think I just need to delete what I have recorded and just start watching from scratch because I'm just that far behind on it that I don't really know too much about what's going on right now. Where I was actually watching it every week there for a while, even before the WWE crossover stuff happened. I'd
Mm-hmm.
started watching it pretty regularly, but I
yeah,
like
Ethan Page was on last night, so.
I like what they did with the Women's North American Championship too, having Stephanie, um, Stephanie relinquish it and then creating the ladder match. You remember the first that men's North American ladder match like a few years
Yeah,
back
for
with
the
like
inaugural one.
Ricochet and yeah, dude,
Oh
that was
yeah,
fucking
Adam
crazy.
Cole, EC3.
Yeah, so I think the women will have a fun ladder match for that, and it also gives a spotlight to some of the NXT has such a deep women's roster. Like there's so many like good, viable, women out there. For the one to hold both titles doesn't really make sense. My guess is
No.
Julia. Julia must have had something, either a visa issue or an injury or something that she needed to take care of or something like that because she hasn't been seen since then. Today was not today, but Tuesday was the first time they actually even said her name since that
Mm-hmm.
match happened. So I'm thinking something had to have happened that caused her to have to relinquish the title, which is why Stephanie won both of them. But it makes sense what they're doing now, and I like how Stephanie said like, I want this division to be strong, and it can't be strong if one person's holding all the gold. So I thought that was a good way for her to kind of get out of it too.
Yeah.
But let's see. All right, where'd you want to go with AEW?
So I don't know what you thought was good. I just saw a little bit. Like for me, okay, I only saw a little bit at the end. I'll say
Okay.
one thing that was good and maybe a few things that were bad. I just didn't like. I don't know. Like to me, okay. I watched the main event with Cope and Claudio. I thought it was
Yeah,
actually a really good match.
it was a good match.
Just nice base. It was a nice basic match. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And it was a good finish. I think they should have ended the show there.
Yeah,
Okay.
I can agree with you
Then
there.
all of a sudden you had the thing with Swerve, and then here came Hangman. Then all of a sudden you had security guards running out of nowhere for some reason or
Mm-hmm.
whatever. I don't know if they're because they were following Hangman or whatever. Okay. That was their talk. You know the you broke into my house. Yeah, well, you burned down my house. Well, you deserved it. And then with Swerve saying, I know.
Mm-hmm.
And Hangman's like, what? He's like, I know. I know I deserved that. And then Hangman just kind of like runs away. So
Yeah.
that was like weird. So then all of a sudden here's the attack from the Death Riders. And then you got fake glass or whatever. And then they go out, they drop him on the fake glass. And then like, okay, Swerve gets up and everything, which is like all that could be cool, but it's like no reaction.
Yeah.
Like nobody, just to me, like the Death Riders are like not even Food Club. I would say food stamp. Like
Well, and they were all over the show. Like the opening match was Mox and Marina versus Swerve and
yeah, then Mox dropped
Willow
her.
Nightingale, and yeah,
Yeah,
and now I will say this: that match was really good. I enjoyed watching that match. I thought it was done really well. Like I've never seen it was like a mixed gender tornado tag match before. Like
yeah,
it was actually kind of cool. It was done really well. Now there was a couple things that cameras missed that like Mox got knocked off the apron through a table by Willow, but the camera was focused somewhere completely different, so it's like, okay, so you didn't see that. The one
they're just
spot though.
like.
Go ahead.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, go
No,
ahead.
you finish.
No, you go. Because my thing's a weird thing that I noticed
Well,
that I probably shouldn't talk about anyway. But go ahead.
no. I just what I'm saying is like with AEW, like I just I'm not saying I hate AEW, and I'm not saying like it should go away. It should not go away. And they've got talent, they got good players, this and that. But it's just like I'm sorry, I just have no interest in watching right now. I
Yeah,
have no
there's
interest.
nothing really keeping you coming back.
I mean, outside just, I mean, I might as well just follow it like on X or online or something like that. Like, there's nothing wanting me to spend $55 on Dynasty this weekend.
No, definitely not.
Not one bit. I don't even want to try to bootleg it. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like, it's not even worth like trying to, cheat and get it for free. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
there's just not like I don't know. Like, it's
yeah. I know what you mean. It's almost to the point where
like
I'm
I'm so
kind of
sick of MJF. Like, it's
yeah,
just the same fucking shit. He has no evolution to him at all. It's like, okay, yeah, everybody in every town's a bunch of fat dirtbags. Okay, we get it. You know what I
mm,
mean? Like, I'm just done with it. Like, he's just the cheap heat heel shit. It just doesn't do it for me anymore.
yeah.
Like, if he came to me right now and said, "Okay, well, you're a fucking smart, fuck you," like, I'd be like, "Okay, cool. I don't
Thanks,
care
bud.
what you say." Yeah,
I,
thanks. Like, I don't care.
the thing with him joining the Hurt Business is a tad intriguing. I mean, it gives but yeah, you saw evolution in his character in the storyline with Adam Cole, but then he regressed back
Yeah, then
to
then
the
what?
same thing. Yeah, he just
Yeah,
went back to being what he was before.
like, I
He didn't
fucking
take
love that.
anything with him. Yeah,
I love that when he was like a heel, but he's coming out slapping hands with the fans, and he's being like a smart ass face. Like,
yeah,
that was fucking, like, that was some of my favorite stuff. Like, top like 5 favorite stuff in AEW was like the stuff with him and Adam Cole initially.
yeah.
So
So
I
no,
don't know.
I get it. But yeah. So now the thing I was gonna say, like, so there was a spot in the match where Willow and Marina were on the apron. There was a table on the floor set up, and Willow was trying to get up on Marina's shoulders, like for a power bomb, right? So
Mm.
she like because Marina like hooked her leg, and then Willow was trying to transition around to get her other leg up so she could do a power bomb, but it wasn't really working, and Marina was trying to lift her like so hard that I think she pissed herself.
Oh, nice. I didn't see that or hear about that.
I
The only
don't
cool
know if
spot I saw from that,
I don't know
the
if a
cool
lot of
spot I saw
people
from that match,
got it, but
the cool spot I saw from that match was when Mox was initially about to give Willow the dirty deeds, let's just call it, and then
yeah,
Swerve picked up Marina. Yeah, like, that was kind of cool.
yeah, dude, that was awesome. That was really well done. The match had really good storytelling for the dynamic that it had, and like there was also a spot where Swerve had Mox set up for the house call, and Marina pushed Mox out of the way and took the house call. So it was like
Yeah,
she took the bullet for Mox and stuff like that. Like it was just done. It was done really really well. But to your point, the whole show was just there was just too much Death Riders, and they're involved in too many storylines. Like he's involved in the storyline with Swerve, he's involved in the
it
storyline
just wasn't a good. It
with
just wasn't a
Cope.
good
Like it's
go
just
home show.
yeah, yeah, because
Like,
now
Willer Dynasty's, I don't know. It just wasn't a good. I don't know.
I would feel bad for Swerve if if he beats Mox and wins the championship, because it's like you didn't do anything to like make me want to tune in to see that happen. You know what I mean?
Yeah, like,
It
it
would have been
shouldn't be
better off
happening
if they
this.
it would have been better off if they beat the shit out of him and left him laying and he didn't get up with the whole like you know what I mean? Like it would have been better if he just if he got stretchered out than that.
Yeah, because that almost like tells me right there he's losing. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
but like, if I don't know, I think Swerve does need the title back. I think the dude's so over. I think he should. To me, right now, I would pick him to be my champion.
Yeah.
And but like, does it happen this way? I don't know. Like,
Well, and I think what they're leading to also is that Hangman will help. Like, Hangman said he'll never let him be champion, but I feel like they're leading to Hangman helping him.
Yeah, especially with the whole interaction, which was cool.
It was,
that was
but
unexpected.
But if that's the case, though, they should have done that 3 weeks ago and planted and started planting those seeds, like to kind of lead you there. You know what I mean? Instead of just doing it on the go home, and then you're just like, it just didn't fit, right? And then if he does, then you're like, well, that was weird. You know what I mean? Like, just I don't know, man. What I'm doing with AEW is kind of what I did with WWE, like 4 years ago. I'm just like, I'm going to watch it and I'm going to try to find something that I like out of it, but I'm just not going to take it too seriously. You know what I mean?
Right.
I mean, that's kind of how I am with WWE now, but it's just more like I want to watch, where before I was just like, yeah, I'll watch it because I love it and I've been watching it since I was a kid. But now it's like, fuck, dude, I got to see I got to go watch SmackDown after we get done with this because I'm dying to see how the show went. And, I watch AEW because I just want to see what happens. And there are guys on there that I want to see. Although that list is dwindling because not only is Rey Fenix now on SmackDown, he debuted tonight. It looks like Malachi Black is probably the other vignette that's been playing on SmackDown with all the smoke. Apparently he's in a closet. Apparently the closet he's in now is smoke filled. But did you see the news of who they just signed?
Maybe, or I don't know.
Rusev Day is coming back to WWE.
Oh yeah, I saw that. I heard that yesterday. Yep.
So I would imagine, like, I feel like he's got to go back to Rusev, right? Like Rusev was more over than Miro ever was. Whereas, like, I know Sean Spears kept his name, instead of going back to Ty Dillinger, and I know, but I feel like Rusev has got to fucking stay Rusev, right?
Please come out through WrestleMania and attack Damian Priest.
Yeah, that'd be great. That would be, yeah, I do know why.
Okay.
I saw those TikToks. I saw a lot of those TikToks, and those TikToks made me wonder, like, what's going on there?
Rumors that they're back together, though.
Oh yeah, they renewed their vows. Yeah. Well, and there was a rumor that she is coming back with him, but then of course Meltzer was like, "Oh no, Lana has not been signed. Lana is not, I don't know why I just like Trump with Dave Meltzer, but yeah, like he said that those rumors were completely untrue and that she isn't going to be back. But yeah, I'm excited to see Rusev back. I can't wait for him to make a joke like, "Oh, it's just good to be working or good to be seen" or something. but I don't know, like, what, is Rusev Day going to be the creative? Like, will it still have steam? What, 6 years later, 5 years later? You know what I mean? It's been a long time since he's been in WWE.
Yeah, I don't know.
So I read something online, something like, "Oh, are they going to put Miro in NXT and have him win a pointless third brand title or something like that?" And I was just like, bro, didn't they put Claudio in and give him the ROH championship? Like, they can do that. They've been doing that on AEW for like 10 years now. Like, I feel like every time they bring a WWE guy in, they put him in a like ROH championship of some kind.
What drives me nuts is that they've put the Ring of Honor world, like, Chris Jericho's been Ring of Honor world champion for a long time, and I do love that he did not get rid of, like, that custom belt they had made. It's in honor of Jay Briscoe, and I love that Jericho still wears it and stuff. But, like, they put the title on Jericho to almost like make Ring of Honor its own thing almost. But this is not Jericho's fault, but they've done nothing to do that. There's nothing building with Ring of Honor. You know what I mean? Like, there is, but like, what little YouTube stuff here or there or on what? It's like,
yeah.
I don't know.
I mean, they still have pay-per-views, but how well are the pay-per-views selling when it's like
they can't be doing good?
Yeah, I don't know. And you know, he's supposed to face Bandito, I think, at Dynasty, where he'll more than likely drop it
Which that
because
has
they're talking about how he's beat him twice now, and the third time he's gonna make his mom cry and stuff like that.
That hasn't been bad. The whole thing was stealing the mask and
it's the Rock and Cody Rhodes storyline. Mama Bandito.
Yeah,
like it's basically the same fucking shit.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. Like it's cool that Tony bought Ring of Honor and tried that and everything, but like I don't know. Unless you're gonna just completely just associated from AEW, kind of.
Yeah.
Like I don't know. Your Ring of Honor champion's on AEW television more than he is Ring of Honor television.
Right. Well, there isn't any Ring of Honor television though, so that's the problem.
They have those little shows, but like I said, they're only on streaming thing or whatever that nobody subscribes to.
Yeah. How about this? This one got me too. So Big Bill and Brian Lee, since we're talking about Jericho, want to challenge the Hurt Syndicate for the AEW Tag Team Championships.
I saw that, yeah.
And did you see where, they're like, well, until you beat somebody and can prove that you can hang, like, you're not getting a shot. So what did they do? They went out there and beat the shit out of two guys nobody's even heard of.
Yeah, I know. They said, hey, sit down. They said, hey, sit down in this chair and watch this match. And Bobby Lashley just pushed the chair to the side and just walked away.
And they brought one chair for two. They brought one chair for two guys. Was he supposed to sit on his lap?
It was so awkward, so weird. It was so odd.
And then he threw the one guy. Oh, speaking of that, holy shit! Did you see at least a clip of Jordan Grace fucking throwing that dude out of the ring at Jada Parker? Oh my god! Yeah, I saw that. That guy got launched.
Yeah. He was who's the dude who always came in like that on the trampoline? Who's that Mexican wrestler? No.
Oh, Sin Cara.
Yeah, Sin Cara. No, you know what it reminded me of? It almost reminded me of like a pandemic era like edit.
Yeah,
like they would edit shit. Yeah. And everything was always taped, and they like edit this or that or whatever. Yeah, that's what it reminded me of. It's crazy.
Oh man, but it was a good thing for Jordan though, because I think I mentioned it when Jada took her out a couple weeks ago. Like she was coming out to cut a promo, and Jada just fucked her up, and I was like, oh, that kind of made Jordan look a little weak. But then they have her toss a grown man, 100 feet. Like he looked like she looked like Uncle Phil throwing Jazz out of the house. Like he just went flying.
That's a good one too. Yeah. Everybody always wondered why Jazz wore the same clothes every show.
Yeah,
because that clip was done one time and they used it every single time. Yeah. So he always wore the same outfit every single show.
Oh my gosh,
that's hilarious.
All right. Anyway, so but yeah, so it was just kind of funny. Like, oh, go out and beat somebody, and then they beat two jobbers that. I think they meant like go out and beat a tag team that maybe was a tag team champion. But I'm trying to think back, like who's still a tag team in AEW? Like the Young Bucks aren't even around. The Scissor Me Boys broke up. Why am I blanking on their name? Why am I blanking on their names? The Platinum Max and Bowens. Why am I blanking on their tag team name?
The
Acclaimed. God. Holy shit! Yeah, the Acclaimed is no longer around.
I forgot too. So.
There's no more. Where's Jungle? Where the fuck's Jungle Boy been?
I don't know.
He's gone.
Being a douchebag somewhere.
Dude, it's
FTR. It's kind of.
Yeah, and FTR's they're breaking up. Like, there's not really any tag teams left in AEW. The brand that was known for factions and tag teams is like, I don't know.
That's not a bad thing.
Yeah. I mean, especially the faction thing, but you still need a good, strong tag division. You know,
Probably not a good thing that a lot of tag teams are breaking up, especially when you have tag team and trios titles. So,
well, you have in 2 sets of both, which is even better. So,
yeah.
But anyway, all right. Well, I'm done talking about AEW. I mean, we've hit the hour mark. Is there anything else you could think of that we didn't talk about or cover?
No, I'm good. I think my daughter is about almost home, so I'm sure the dogs are gonna start barking like a motherfucker. And
you know, mine too. So it's probably a great time to wrap up.
Yeah, want to go outside or puke on the carpet or
all that fun stuff.
Shit.
Yep. Yep. Katie and I were just talking about that too. Like we went upstairs to watch a TV show. We both were laid in bed, and then all of a sudden, Riley like whined that he wanted to go outside, and I'm just like, dude, we were just downstairs. I tried to let you outside. You didn't go outside, and then we get up here, and now you're gonna whine. She goes, you know, sometimes the dogs are more dicks than our kids. So it's like, yeah, they kind of are.
Oh yeah, they don't give a shit.
Yeah, but. Anyway, all right, man. Well, hey, we'll go and wrap this up. Thank you guys for listening to this episode of the show. You can find us on your favorite podcast platform of choice. If this is your first time hearing this or seeing it, the audio version is available on Apple, Spotify, and all the other podcast platforms. You can also find the video version on YouTube. Just look at our previous live videos. You can watch that. Sometimes I'll post clips other places, but I haven't done that in a little while because I've been busy. But other than that, you can follow us on X at Live Your Gimmick. That is the @ symbol followed by LIVYOURGIMMICK. And that's all I got to say about that. So thank you guys for joining us this week. For Kevin, I'm Jason, reminding all of you out there to be a fan and always live your gimmick. Goodbye, everybody.
Man, that's how fucking tired I am. I thought you said for Jason, I'm Kevin.
I might have. I don't know.
No, you didn't, but I thought you did.
I feel like I've done that before, though, haven't I?
Yeah, probably have. Nothing would be a slap dick.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's not slap dick. It's slap nuts.
All right. Goodbye for real this time. See everybody. All right. And we're wrapped.